Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. And good morning everyone. I am glad to see all of you, and I want to thank all of you for giving your commitment and your contribution to participate in this activity. Yes, today we are going to have a group discussion, or to be more accurate, a panel discussion. But before we go through, let me introduce all of you. The first one we have Muhammad Aiman Shafi bin Ahmad Shukri, and sitting next me, we have Muhammad Irfan bin Hazrami, and this is Muhammad Isa bin Abdul Rashid, and I am Muhammad Fatah Alim bin Ahmad Zawawi, and I am going to be the leader for our group discussion today, inshallah. Okay guys, actually the reason why we gather here, yes, because we are going to have a panel discussion, but actually that is not the real reason. The real reason why we gather here today is actually we have a very big and contemporary issue regarding our generation, which is Gen Z. Actually, there are lots of the older generation, such as our parents, our teachers, the lecturers, the researchers from the universities. They start to show their concern and their worry about how technology, how the advance of technology, how the digital revolution had influenced and triggered their children, or to be more accurate, their children is Gen Z, our generation, Generation Z, which is the generation, the people who born between the years of 1996 into the 2012. They are very concerned about us, and until some of them, not all, but the majority of them started to say that technology had made this generation become weak, or in other terms, technology weakens Gen Z, and this is gonna be the topics and the theme for our discussion today, inshallah, guys. But guys, when I read about this topic, for me, in my opinion, this topic is actually quite questionable, which is what does the older generation meant by mentioning the word technology. Technology is very common and general word. What they meant by mentioning the word technology. Guys, what actually the definition of technology that we can apply here? Any one of you have any brilliant idea to share with? Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. I think technology means the application of scientific knowledge to the practical aims of human life. In other words, technology has been created to ease us, humankind, in many aspects in life. For example, let's say transportation. You know, nowadays we got buses, cars, motorcycles, so on and so forth. And even a horse carriage was considered as a technology at the time it was built, which is around 13th century. And let's get back to the topic, and I think it is not fair for us to blame all the technology here, because not all technology bring bad effects to its users. But regarding to the concern of parents and older generation, I think they objectively try to focus on more to social media, internet, and modern devices, smartphones especially. And this is the focal point for our discussion today, and we will be specify the terms technology into three things that have been mentioned before, which is social media, internet, and modern devices.
Okay guys, I agree with him. How about all of you? How about two of you?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, okay guys. Alhamdulillah. Okay guys, after this, put in your mind, when any one of us mention about technology, it is referring to the social media, internet, and modern devices. Okay guys, to start with this discussion, I will gonna start with my first point, which is I want to tell you about a quote, which is technology is either a blessing or a curse, depend on how we use it. And at this time, I want to emphasize about the curse that technology bring to us. I want to start with a question. Guys, try to imagine that you are going to hang out with your friend outside of your home, and when you're at that place, you suddenly realize that you left your smartphone at that place. So my question is, are you going back to your home to take your smartphone, or you just ignore your smartphone because yes, you are going to hang out with your friend? Maybe you can just ignore your smartphone just an hour, 2 hours only. So what is your opinion, guys?
I'm going back home.
Going back home. Yes, I believe that all of you will gonna back home, and I also including you. Okay guys, this scenario actually indicates, this scenario is actually one of the indicator that show our generation is actually over depending on the technology. Our generation actually perceive that we cannot do nothing without technology. Technology is such as a human that say to us, you cannot do nothing without me. So how our generation become weak by over depending on the technology? Actually, this high dependency on the technology, this encourage the utilization of our brain. We not use our brain. The technology or the internet, the artificial intelligence is our second brain. they replace our brain. So guys, why we cannot to be rely on the technology? Because there is certain time that we cannot depend on technology. So by over depend on this technology, we will lack of the problem solving skill, the creative and critical thinking skill. We will not have the skill, and this is very important in the future. Try to imagine that when our lecturer give us any topic of assignment to do, the first thing that we are going to do is actually we are going to browse the information from the internet instead of brainstorming the idea by ourselves. We have a brilliant brain, but we not use it. So it will be hard for us, especially in the examination, because we are not allowed to use the smartphone and so on. So guys, actually why I am very eager and active to talk about this topic is actually because I was influenced and triggered by his WhatsApp status last week, because it stated that he received a lot of benefits from the AI, the technology that he used every day. So I want to ask you, I want to take this time to ask you, why you say like that? What makes you say like that, sir?
Okay, thank you. Like I said, technology is created to make everything easy for us, and that's why I say that in my status. And I also believe that technology can bring. Okay, first of all, I also believe that technology can bring bad effects towards Gen Z, but it is not enough to weaken this generation, because technology can enhance their education and provides the digital learning tools for them. You know, kids nowadays they are learning by using the Duolingo app to learn languages, you know, Audible app to listen to books, and Evernote app to take note while they are in their class. And these new horizons are normative for these generations. As a result, they quickly become adapt with a multitude of different digital learning tools.
I may add up.
Yes, of course.
Okay, first of all, we are not denying the fact that the technologies, that we have today are bringing the benefits towards our daily life. But what we are trying to highlight today is that, we can't deny the fact that despite all the benefits that it brought, it also comes with a problems and potential threats. And not just that, these potential threats and problems are occurring frequently day by day, and they are becoming more virulent among the society, typically the Gen Z. Okay, I would like to elaborate more on the topic that you suggested just now regarding social media. Okay, the existence of social media makes the Gen Z, this is from my opinion, makes them detached from the reality. By being online, I would like to ask you, by being online, it means that we don't have to face the person. We don't have to discuss the things that like we are doing now. Like face the person that we are interacting with in reality. And this also means that there are high possibilities that we might misjudge the person, that we might not even know the real personality of the person that we are interacting with. And how do I say this? It is typically, for the Gen Z, obvious. They tend to, when they have disagreements among each other, they tend to take things to a highly provocative measures. When they have disagreement, they put up provocative words. They throw cursive words towards each other, and sometimes they even went online and slandered each other online, because they knew that the person on the other side they consider the person on the other side not to be the real person. And the example that I could give you, the best example that I could give you is the case. One of my friends, this is a real case that went viral last July. My friend name was Fatia Jamari. You can Google it online. And the case is when she had a disagreement with one of her followers. Her followers took the things further by creating a fake account and spamming news towards her inbox messages. And this is what we call quite embarrassing amongst the Gen Z. when you took things out of control. And this is also what I meant. You know, the Gen Z nowadays, and they took the person on the other side as not a real person. So what are you guys thought regarding this matter?
Well, I cannot deny that some of the Gen Zs have moral problems. However, technology has made Gen Z possess great multitasking skills. Technology has become the greatest multitasking enabler. And instant access to information and forms of communication enables us, we Gen Zs, to quickly switch from one task to the next. Besides that, it allows us better time management. Being quicker and more efficient throughout the working day increases our performance and the number of tasks completed. And it also leads to a higher productivity. If the tasks to be done are organized and carried out correctly, the volume of work that can be taken on increases. Because we students have a lot of things to do, right? Okay, what about you? I know we're on the same page.
Thank you, Brother Aiman, and I am very happy that we are on the same side. But I want to add up my point, which is technology can help them, Gen Zs, develop their interactive creativity and digital expressions. You know, smartphones, applications, and interactive websites offer this generation the ability to share their artistic passion for and why. For example, they can record a musical performance on YouTube, you know, make a mood board on Pinterest, or edit photos on Visco app or Lightroom and many other applications, you name it. And all these types of digital tools will help them think creatively and easily share their creations. Not only that, it also offers the opportunity for encouragement and creative feedback from this generation. What you guys have in mind?
Yes, I cannot deny that to be creative by using the technology is very good. But you have to realize that by using the technology to be creative, actually we are going to spend more time on the technology on the internet, and at the same time we will get more harm from that particular technology. Okay, guys, it is as simple as this. When we are going to use this kind of technology, we have to remember the consequence effect that we can receive. For example, that his friend case about being scammed by unknown people on the social media and so on. This will lead into the mental health problem. As you know that lots of people get the mental health disorder from using the social media for a long time. As you know that, can you try to imagine just a simple example? When you text someone and he did not reply it, when our WhatsApp group is silent, when there is no news update on our story, we will feel the loneliness at that time. That's how technology actually have power to manage and to decide our attitude, our emotion at that particular day. If you read a positive news at that day, you are going to be a positive person at that day. But at the morning, if you read a very violent and negative content on the social media, that would change your behavior. So how about you? I think Ishtar and Aiman, it is not worth it for us to be creative, but at the same time we have to surrender our sense of humanity. So maybe any one of you can add my point or disagree.
Right. Okay, indeed, you have a very good point, and I understand your concern regarding the issue. But if we look to a bigger perspective, technologies have made Gen Z a well-informed and a well-educated generation. So digital technology has eliminated the physical barriers between nations through their mutual ideas and opportunities. Because you know, internet is if you want to go to Thailand, you have to go across the borders. But with internet, you didn't need to cross the borders or go to the immigration or so on. And the rise of social media has encouraged communication, and the use of Facebook, Twitter, and many other social networking platforms has allowed culturally diverse people to connect with each other. Users on the social media are now becoming global people. Since we live in the world of information, information technology has become a part of Gen Z's daily lives, our lives, daily lives. And by the existence of information technology, it has made Gen Z well-informed to any latest trends, news, and updates. And not to forget the World Wide Web, where we can basically search anything regarding like any subject you want to learn. You just type it on the Google. Okay. Maybe any of you have something in mind?
And I guess I want to add up a little bit more. Okay, okay. For example, the ones that you are trying to emphasize, like the being creative on all these apps, on the technologies that we have today. Okay, nowadays the Gen Zs are being too dependent on these technologies. Like before, we express our creativity by interacting with the nature, by interacting with the environment. We hear the sounds of the birds, we hear the sounds of the waves in the ocean. But instead now, they are stuck in a room and interacting with merely a box-shaped items like this. Yeah. And so what I wanted to emphasize is that by being too dependent to these technologies, there are concerns, and these concerns are on the basis, And what are the concerns is the addiction towards these technologies. What are addictions towards technologies? Addictions towards technologies means there are obsessive behaviors towards these technologies, and sometimes these obsessive behaviors towards these technologies are typically expressed in a harmful ways by these Gen Zs. Okay, one of the examples we could implicate is any of you remember the Christchurch shooting in New Zealand before in 2019? Yeah, that's a terrible tragedy. And what's the most tragic is that the person that conducts the massacre, Brenton Tarrant, he deliberately broadcast his massacre online on Facebook. And not just that, prior to the tragic incident, it triggers a chain reaction along the whole world, worldwide. There are more massacres rising up. There are more shootings rising up. For example, in Texas, 23 people were killed. And when being investigated, they stated that they are being influenced by the actions of Brenton Tarrant in New Zealand. So this is what I meant. Addictions towards technology could sometimes be harmful, and this is expressed typically by the Gen Z.
Okay, guys. I think based on our discussion, it is hard for us to find a very concrete and a very concrete conclusion, which is actually we need. But because of we are limited of the time, so I think I need one of us to give a very brilliant ideas about a conclusion to our discussion, and to wrap it, because I think it is hard for us to agree on this topic. We have a lot of different opinion. So any of you can give any conclusion?
Can I start?
Yeah.
Okay. So what can I conclude is we have to agree to disagree whether technology weakens Gen Z or not. So it's basically the device is never a problem, right? It's the individual who use it, and I do hope each of us to be mindful of how we use the technology, especially information technology, and seek to employ it as a means of improving our decisions and not becoming a distraction. Okay, thank you for today. Till we meet again.